What's up, guys? It's Kickter. Oh my goodness, you guys are already gifting stuff. Lorelei just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Lorelei. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Welcome, Emily Clark and June and Cuddle Beans and Bridget. That is so nice of you. Thank you so much, Lorelei. And let's see who was first today. We got Brayley, hello, Guang Hui, Cookielicious, Demi Bourbon, Emmerich Gill, Esper Lady, Mick Hammy, Arianel, Luna Chan, Wizard of Moss, hello guys. And Emma also gifted a membership. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Emma. I really, really appreciate that. Oh my god, I forgot. Guys, I thought, to get us started, Emma sent me a very special gift of a very special boy that I think some people here might like. While we wait for people to settle in. Hello! Oh my goodness, you guys are so sweet. I love you too. I've had a great day so far. Yeah, Stitch and I watched Apothecary Diaries this morning. And then we got our cosplays ready because we're going to a convention on Vancouver Island over Valentine's Day. Master Ash, thank you so much. Master Ash, thank you for your donation. Hello, just caught up on Link Click Bryden arc today. Oh, nice. I know, I was so sad there wasn't a new episode today. It's done, I guess. Wild shit. Very, very excited for SCUM. Yeah, me too. Link Click is so good. If you haven't watched Link Click, I would really recommend it. It's very gay. Cat's Cow has been a member for 13 months. Thank you so much, Cat's Cow. Making some adult hot cocoa to get cozy for a stream after a hard week. Ooh, what's in the adult hot cocoa? Is it Bailey's? I want some Bailey's. That sounds good. Oh, oh my goodness gracious. Master Ash says it's the best show about time travel. Hell yeah. Ain't nothing better than gay time travel. And Spark Major is here! I'm on my way to get food so I can scum it up. Hell yeah. Scum it up. Okay. My goodness. I'm so excited. Cat's Cow says I'm going for the Baileys tonight. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Let us see. Hey, Bridget! Oh, my baby. Look at him. Oh my god. Emma, thank you so much. This is so freaking awesome. I am like Nendoroids are so special to me. I think that they capture such the perfect, like, chibi cuteness while the characters can still kind of look like themselves and still kind of look like cool and hot, you know what I mean? Oh my god, look at him. And the different versions of him. Look, he's got the Book of Secrets and he's got a little flame. Oh my god, he's so cute. I want to make him this face though. Look at that. Oh my god, he's so cute. Oh, Emma, thank you so much. I will keep him in the box for now because I don't want to lose any parts, but that is just amazing. Thank you so much, Emma. That's so awesome. Every time. Oh my god, I've been dropping my phone like crazy. Ah, so loud. Hey, Yen, welcome to your first Scum Villain stream. Live. And Kenzie, hey Kenzie, hi bestie. I'm packing for my trip while I am talking with Briarbox and watching this stream. Let's get some scum it up. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you guys. It's gonna be such a fun trip. Oh, what a nice, perfect Valentine's Day together. That's awesome. Beza has been a member for 2 months. Thank you so much. And says, it's 4 a.m. and I did not sleep because I was excited for the live. Oh my god, I'm so happy that you were that excited for it. I was excited for it too. I've been looking forward to this all day. I actually was invited out to a birthday dinner and I was like, I'm gonna be scumming it up, guys. I'm sorry. But I'm glad to be here with you guys and reading this book. And last time we read half of the first chapter of book 2, which is chapter 6. So chapters are quite long. I've been wanting to do like one chapter per stream, but we'll see where this stream gets us. Because the next chapter is Water Prison, which I do not know anything about, but I know it is an arc lots of people talk about. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Kate. I'm drawing Guoshi in honor of his official design release. Oh my god, yes, if you guys didn't see, in honor of TGCF's new short film that's coming out, they've been dropping official art of some side characters. So we got Young Chi-Rong, and now we have Guoshi Mei Nang Ching. Very excited, very pretty. He didn't look as slutty as I thought he was gonna look, but he's still gorgeous. Lorelai says Jinji was so hot in the last episode. Yes, I agree. And Emmy gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Emmy. I really appreciate that. Being a member on my channel is a lot of fun because every Friday, except for this upcoming Friday because I'm going to be going away, but it's usually every Friday at 7 p.m. we do Dan-made game nights where we either draw together or we play Gartic Phone or we do Frantic Fanfic, and they're all these like interactive games and we all do them like Dan-Mei style. So all of the prompts are Dan-Mei characters, and sometimes we do quizzes, we play Quiplash, like all kinds of different stuff, all with the Dan-Mei flair, and it's really fun. It's a great place to make new friends and just hang out and get to chat with me and Stitch. It's really fun. So it's also the best way to support my channel, so I really appreciate it when you guys gift memberships. That's like the nicest thing ever. And I even saw lots of people last live were like, oh, I got gifted a membership and I decided to keep it going like for another month. Like that just means the world to me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Quinn Silva sent a donation. Thank you so much, Quinn. Hi, Kictor. Hi, Quinn. I had a stressful week, and I look forward to your scum days. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm sorry that your week was stressful. Maybe, Lo Bingha can de-stress you somehow. Although I have a feeling that Bingha is going to be stressing us out in this chapter, because last chapter, it was a little surprising to come across him, hey? Oh my gosh, hi someonce. You got the notification while you were listening to the second live. That's awesome. Well, maybe you can catch up in time for the next live. Beza says, Goshi is really attractive. I agree. I agree. Kenzie says, I want my cunty Goshi back, please and thank you. I love Ruthie's art of him where he has the, like, the purple mask, I think. He looks so good. So good like that. Oh, Demi says, I don't know how long I'll stay since I'm getting into Chuan cosplay, but I'm excited for SCUM. Hell yeah. Chuan cosplay, that's fun. That's awesome. Today, Stitch and I got into our cosplays. We got into our Victor and Jace cosplays. And unfortunately, I mean, luckily, I am very particular about wigs. So we had an upcoming convention and I ordered 3 Jace wigs because I'm like, I can just return the ones that aren't good. And one of the wigs that was from one of the nicer places, they actually sent me a Victor wig instead. So, but my other one works good. So it'll be good. It'll work out. You can see it on my Instagram if you're curious. Annika says, I have 30 pages left of Yuwu, but I'm excited for the SCUM break as a palette cleanser. Oh my god, we filmed the Yuwu book club video today. So Stitch told me everything that happens. Murong Chuyi. Oh boy. I was not expecting any of that. That was crazy. That's all I will say. Will you wear wigs? Yes, we will wear wigs this weekend for sure. Kate says, what was that sandwich you gave Stitch? Oh my god. Okay, I've also posted on my Instagram. I drizzled it with something, and then I posted it on my Instagram being like, guess what the drizzle is? And you would not, the amount of people that said come. Oh god. It was, balsamic glaze. Yeah, it was like a chicken and tomato sandwich. The balsamic glaze just makes it so savory and so good. Balsamic. There you go. You're right. It was cum after all. Oh my gosh. Howdy, fellow scum lords. It was good. It was a good sandwich. I love a good sandwich. I love it when there's like chicken left over. And then you can, and also you put a little butter on it and then put it in the, what's that oven called? Air fryer? Hell yeah. So good. I thought it was like cinnamon. All of Goshi's designs in the Donghua are purple. Yes, I know. I feel like a lot of the fan interpretation of him has been purple from some really good fan art. So it's like, life imitates art, imitates life. Oh, Kazaroni says, the Kictor is really good at making me laugh. I'm glad. I'm really glad. Demi says, I love my air fryer. Fuck yeah, air fryer is a game changer. Listen, if Lil Bingha had access to a fucking air fryer, Shizen would be even happier than he already is with his cooking. Oh, Spark Major got the sushi. All right. Well, shall we jump in to some Scum Villain? Still sad about the beaded veil not being official, right? Oh my god, he would look so hot with a beaded veil. Chung Chung wears the gay purple. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, he does. You know what else is purple? Is my Danmei streetwear shirt you can get at Kictor.shop. Time to read about Bingle Bongle. Correct. Sienna! Thank you so much for your donation. Sienna wrote, spoiler alert! Lobingha is the protagonist. He will invent magic air fryer. Damn airplane shitty writing. He probably fucking would. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Okay. Let's jump in. Let's do some reading. So last we learned about the sowers, which is gross. We're like these demons that like round up humans and infect them so that demons can like eat them. And that's what's happening in this town. And that's where Shencheng Cho and Lil Chinga and oh my god, what is the doctor's name? The doctor's there too, I think. And they're trying to figure out what's happening because there is this like disease that's making people's like fucking skin fall off and stuff. And that is where they come across Mu Ching Fan. Yes, okay. I was like, Ming Fan? No, that's the other guy. And that is when they come across Bingha. And turns out he is back. And he didn't want Shizen to know. He did not come back to his normal sect. So it's kind of nuts. So we're in the middle of chapter 6 right now, and I'm on page 42. Actually, I'm going to start at page 41. I'm just trying to figure out where we are. Okay, so this is, there, Gong Yishao is there, and Shen Qingqiu is wondering, like, why did Binghe not come back to our sect? So, let's find out. After you rescued him, why didn't he return to Tsingchong Mountain Sect? Shen Qingqiu asked. Gong Yishao took several stock of Shen Qingqiu's expression, and he spoke cautiously. Once Luo Shizhong was rescued and woke up, he seemed to be unwilling to bring up the past. When he was delivering his farewells, he disclosed that he wouldn't return to Tsangchong Mountain Sect and that he hoped Huanhua Palace would keep his whereabouts a secret. It seemed he intended to wander the world, but our master thinks very highly of Luo Shizhong, so he vigorously urged him to stay. They don't call each other master and disciple, but with the way our master treats him, he's already no different than a succeeding heir. So that's how it was. No wonder the Huanhua Palace disciples had shown such a hostile attitude towards Shen Qingqiu just a moment ago. This act of Lo Binghe's was his standard trampled white lotus who silently endures. People had no doubt begun to think, if everything is fine, why would Lo Binghe be unwilling to return? Maybe it's because Tsangchong Mountain Sect and Shen Qingqiu in particular have wronged him. That false news of his death at the Immortal Alliance conference must be covering up some terrible secrets. Lo Binghe's brainwashing skills weren't just talk. Having seen how those disciples blindly and fastidiously followed him, Shen Qingqiu knew exactly where Lo Binghe stood within Huanhua Palace. A disciple from Sect A took a trip to Sect B. Subsequently, the entire hierarchy of Sect B, from top to bottom, cried and begged for him to stay, and even hid and concealed him so other sects wouldn't find him out. How unscientific and unreasonable. But with the male lead's halo shining down upon the situation, it was absolutely logical. Shen Qingqiu was silent. Gong Yishao thought him sad and disappointed. His beloved disciple hadn't died, but had instead preferred to roam around the world instead of returning to see him. Of course this was a painful tragedy. So Gong Yishao offered consolation. Senior Shen wouldn't pay it any mind. Perhaps Luo Shizhong is struggling with a temporary internal conflict that he's yet to resolve. Before now, he never left Huanhua Palace's sphere of influence, yet when he heard that Tsangchong Mountain's senior Shen was participating in rescue efforts here, he took the initiative and asked to come. Perhaps there's been a turn for the better. Although my Shidi and Shimei, on this matter, I believe they've misunderstood, Senior. I hope you won't hold it against them. Shen Qingqiu's heart was as choked as a dammed-up river. Sure enough, the positive reputation he'd painstakingly farmed over many years was nothing in the face of Lo Binghe's ability to smear him without a second thought. And what a thorough smearing! But on second thought, this couldn't actually be considered smearing. After all, Shen Qingqiu hadn't been wrongly accused in this case. He had indeed kicked Lo Binghe down into the endless abyss. In the end, he couldn't find any reason to justify or exonerate himself. And you? Shen Qingqiu asked. Why don't you misunderstand? Gong Yishao was stunned for a short while. Then he said, though I don't know what exactly happened in Juedi Gorge, I wholeheartedly believe that Senior isn't the sort of person who would harm his own disciple. Right? Because he saw him be unwilling to harm the snake creature thing. Senior. Fuck, it's so hard not to say that. As he said this, Gong Yishao was thinking back on their meeting in Bailu Forest. Specifically, he was remembering the things Shen Qingqiu had accidentally let slip and the way he affectionately gazed upon that monster. Meanwhile, Shen Qingqiu was thinking, it makes sense. Since we're both cannon fodder fated to fall to the male lead's indestructible body, we're able to understand and sympathize with each other's situations more than anyone else. Therefore, both parties were moved. While they were busy being pleased with their own minds, the group from Huanhua Palace caught up with them. Shen Qingqiu accidentally glanced back and saw that Lo Binghe was looking over in his direction. In the brief incense time since his reunion with Lo Binghe, it seemed that Shen Qingqiu's heart had become quite a bit more delicate. Oh my god. It often felt like a small boat caught in a raging sea amidst a storm. For example, at present, though Lo Binghe wasn't standing anywhere close to him and had maintained an appropriate smile, that pair of cold, pitch-blacked eyes pierced him with incredible force, making Shen Qingqiu's heart tremble in fright. Oh, he's gonna pierce him, alright. Bingo, what's wrong now? Even the sight of cannon fodder talking and huddling together for warmth offends you? Miss Rosie, thank you so much for your donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Miss Rosie says, going out to a bar with friends tonight to listen to a band, but will listen in either now or later. Please send good waves my way. The computer isn't computing, so I have to take it in again tomorrow. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that about your computer. I'll send you all the good computer waves, and I hope that you have a really, really fun time out tonight. That sounds like so much fun getting to see a live band. That's sick. And thank you so much for your donation. And I hope that you had a really good birthday. Is this going out a part of your birthday too? Upon arriving at the entrance of Jin's weapons shop, Shen Qingqiu heard someone inside who was arguing loud enough to shake the roof. This was all thanks to Lo Qingge. Lo Qingge was responsible for the hard labor, and after they'd separated, he'd gone to capture experimental subjects for Mu Qingfang. With the people in the city so on edge, no one was willing to cooperate. However, at this point, they didn't have the luxury to be concerned with consent, so they had resorted to martial power to solve the problem. On top of that, Lo Qingge had never been the sort of patient person who preferred reason over force. His approach was highly consistent with Baijian Peak's customs. He simply went out and grabbed whoever he saw. In one pass, he had collected more than 10 burly macho men, then tied them up by the forge, which had now become Mu Qingfan's research lab and experimentation station. This group of big, strong men were shouting, cursing, crying, and wailing so terribly that no woman could have overcome their performance. Once Shen Qingqiu arrived in the cellar, he explained the unexpected events he had just experienced to his companions. However, for the time being, he didn't bring up that he himself had been infected. Master Wu Chen once again chanted Amitabha. Thanks to our fellow cultivations from the Zhangzhong mountain, we finally made progress on this matter. I'm afraid it's not that straightforward, said Shen Qingqiu. The infected cannot infect each other, and according to Qingjing Peak's ancient texts, the largest recorded number of people at a single sower has infected in one go is only around 300. If a population as large as an entire city has been infected, there absolutely has to be more than one culprit. Ooh. Lo Qingge placed his hand on his sword's hilt and stood. Shen Qingqiu knew he was the type to act first and think later. So, up and leave without another word, he indubitably wanted to set out and find other sowers this instant. Slow down, Shen Qingqiu said hurriedly. I still have something else to say. Go ahead, Xishang, said Mu Qingfang. Shen Qingqiu didn't know how to start, and he hesitated for a moment before saying, Lo Binghe is back. There was little reaction. In the first place of the three, Master Wu Chen was from Jiaohua Monastery and didn't know this. Lo Binghe. Meanwhile, Mu Qingfang rarely cared about things other than medicine. Thus, it was only Lo Qingge who frowned. That disciple of yours? He asked, stunned. Didn't he die at the hands of demons during the Immortal Alliance conference? Shen Qingqiu found it was getting harder to explain. He didn't die. He came back alive. It's a long story. He stepped forward. Let's patrol the city first. I'll explain this in detail when we get back. All right, said Mu Qingfang. The earlier we take care of the remaining sowers, the fewer horrors the people will suffer. I should also go check on those patients. As soon as he spoke, Shen Qingqiu thought of that brightly shining set of silver surgical tools Mu Qingfang always carried with him, which included all kinds of knives and needles. When spread out, they seemed to belong to the scene of a forensic autopsy. There were also hundreds upon thousands of bottles and jars in his infinite storage, with all sorts of labels. The words and descriptions on those labels were just like the flavor and effects of the contents within, stuff that made people go green upon hearing, let alone smelling, that made their courage flee with a glance. In a moment, that group of macho men by the forging station upstairs likely really would blow their lids, and the roof with it. Shen Qingqiu let out a dry laugh. He was about to follow Lo Qingge out of the cellar when from out of nowhere his heartbeat suddenly seemed 100 times louder. His movements also slowed, becoming sluggish. Lo Qingge sensed that something was off and immediately asked, "What's wrong?" Shen Qingqiu didn't answer and only tried to summon a spiritual blast with his right hand. A feeble spiritual flow spluttered through it, forming not a single spark. Fuck me. Of course I have a flare-up at such an important time. Are you kidding me? Without a cure, Mu Qingfang said quietly. Lo Qingge pressed his fingers to Shen Qingqiu's pulse, waiting there for a moment before resolutely pushing him back down onto a chair. Sit here and wait. Wait for what? For Lo Binghe to show up at their door? Shen Qingqiu shot to his feet. I'm going with you. Lo Qingge never gave others face when speaking. Don't be a hindrance. Master, you're the Baijian Peak Lord, capable of single-handedly holding off thousands of enemies. How would letting me fly with you be a hindrance? Shen Shishong, have you taken your medicine today? Was it on time? Mu Qingfan asked. Shen Jingzhou truly wanted to scream at the heavens. I haven't given up on therapy. I clearly took my medicine on time this month, and I had great Master Luo help circulate my meridians on time too. Exactly why would it randomly flare up? It's basically lightning on a clear day. I'm utterly baffled. At this moment, the system had just had to, of all things, send a sudden notification. Protagonist satisfaction points plus 100. Get lost! What are you saying with this? Whenever Shen Jingzhou meets misfortune, the male lead is extra satisfied? Shen Shishong, you must not force yourself, Mu Qingfan added. Luo Shishong is also doing this for your own good. Exerting yourself and rushing around during a flare-up is enormously dangerous. You stay here and rest. I'll go prepare medicine. Wait for Luo Shishong to return, and then he'll help clear your meridians. Shen Jingzhou stood 3 times, but Luo Qingge pushed him down every single one, and Mu Qingfan's tone was that of a man lecturing an unruly child. In the end, Shen Jingzhou could only helplessly say, very well, Luo Shidi, listen to me. A sower's entire body is covered with scarlet skin, and they are highly infectious. If you meet something suspicious that looks similar, don't be rash and get close. Attack from afar. Once you return, you must come to my room without delay. I have something very important to discuss with you. Kate, yes, I'm remembering why I like Luo Shen so much. Bingha's right around the corner. The last sentence was the most critical. Shen Jingzhou deliberately enunciated the words with added emphasis. Comradeship is priceless and fraternal love supreme. 1,000 days are spent training troops for the sake of one moment. Master Luo, you absolutely must shield me. Oh my god. After the Luo Mu pair left the cellar, Wu Chen descended into intense thought. Immortal Master Shen, don't you think it's strange? He asked. The demon realm was quiet for so long, yet in recent years there seem to be signs of a resurgence. At the last Immortal Alliance conference, numerous rare demonic creatures reappeared in the human realm, and this incident in Jinlan City is even more troubling. Sowers appearing now after they were eradicated 100 years ago? This one worries that this most likely isn't a good omen. Shen Qingzhou profoundly agreed. Master, your apprehensions are exactly why I can't be at ease, and this iteration of sowers are markedly stronger than their predecessors. None of the sowers I read about from 100 years back were able to prevent the infected from traveling a certain distance from them, lest they undergo accelerated decay. Moreover, Lo Binghe should have remained in the endless abyss for 2 more years, yet he's broken out early. How could this be a good fucking omen? After being infected, Master Wu Chen's martial aspect had been heavily damaged, and the drain on his energy was enormous. Not long into their discussion, he became tired. Shen Jingzhou helped him lie down, then did his best to quietly leave the cellar. They had hidden Wu Chen within the cellar so he wouldn't be exposed to light or the elements. Shen Jingzhou's actual room was on the 2nd floor of the weapons shop inner courtyard. Luo Qingge had yet to return, and at this time, it would have been impossible for Shen Jingzhou to sleep even if he'd wanted to. He sat at a table and lost himself in thoughts. One moment, he'd think of the little lamb Lo Binghe, who'd always followed him around while calling Shizun. In the next, he'd think of that black lotus Lo Binghe he'd only just met, who had left him so thoroughly drenched in unease that he wanted to rip out all his hair. After an unknown length of time, someone knocked on the door twice, neither light nor heavy. Shen Jingzhou hastily stood from the table. Luo Shidi, I've been waiting for you all night. Come in quickly. The room's set of double doors flew open. Lo Binghe stood in the entrance. Behind him was unbounded darkness. His hands were tucked behind his back, his lips curved slightly upward, but his eyes seemed like icy pools 1,000 meters deep. Drench, you say? Yet those eyes smiled as he said, Shizun, hello. Oh shit, he's here! All at once, it was as if Shen Qingzhou's brains had started boiling, catching fire with a whoosh. Fuck! The ring was playing out live right before his eyes. He grabbed his fan. With a nimble flip, leapt out the window. That's gay panic. Oh my god. Lo Binghe had finally done away with that goosebump-raising mask he'd worn during the day and exposed his true nature, and he'd come to make his teacher pay. Shen Jingzhou's flight was an entirely unconscious impulse. The poser habits he developed over so many years allowed him to persevere, so that even while fleeing, his moments were easy and graceful. He landed solidly on the ground, and with a tap of his foot, darted away like a flying bird. Lo Binghe's clear, bright voice pierced far through the air, reaching his ears while carrying a hint of cold, drifting laughter. During the day, Shizun was so intimate and gentle with Gong Yixiao, and this evening, you lit a lantern, waiting for Luo Shushu until late into the night. What sincere affection! Why then are you so distant when it comes to this disciple? Fuck, it feels like he's cutting the distance in half with every sentence. The speed is unscientific. Shen Qingqiu drew in a deep breath, thinking that whatever happened, he ought to find himself some backup first. He shouted from the pit of his stomach, Luo Qingge! Luo Binghe's voice drew even closer. It was no longer as tender this time around, and instead it came with a wintry laugh. Luo Shushu is embroiled in a fight, so I'm afraid he doesn't have the leisure to come. Shizhen, if you have orders, why not give them to me? Oh my god, what is happening? Oh my god! I wouldn't dare! Shen Qingqiu understood that Luo Binghe must have delayed Luo Qingge by some means. Aid from that quarter couldn't be counted on. He swiftly poured his entire body's spiritual energy downward, hoping to boost his speed. But of course, he just had to forget that he was in the middle of a without-a-cure flare-up. By the time he remembered, it was already too late. In an instant, it was like all the blood in Shen Qingqiu's body had solidified, and his entire form felt suddenly heavy. In the next moment, a hand flashed forward to clutch his throat, and his back crashed hard into a cold, solid rock wall. The pain resonated from his flesh into his spine, his head buzzing. Luo Binghe was already within an arm's reach. He had slammed Shen Qingqiu into the wall with one hand. The back of Shen Qingqiu's skull rang out with a crash, and he swooned. It took a good while before he could refocus his gaze. Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! What? Under the streaming moonlight, Luo Binghe looked even more peerlessly beautiful. Wow, you really gotta like someone a lot for them to smash your head into a wall and then think, wow, he's so peerlessly beautiful. As if his silhouette had been carved from ice and jade, he pressed very close and he spoke with slow deliberation. After so many years of separation, we meet amidst golden wind and jade dew, yet Shizhen incessantly calls someone else's name. That truly saddens this disciple a little. Oh my god, he's fucking crazy! Oh shit! Oh my god. And there is a footnote with that. It's from a poem translated as Immortals as the Magpie Bridge, which describes the annual meeting between a cowherd and the weaver girl during Qi, also known as Chinese Valentine's Day. Oh, that's a little bit gay. Oh my god. He's like, why? Oh my god. We're meeting on Valentine's Day and yet you're calling Luo Qingge's name? I'm gonna smash your head in for that. Jeez. Oh my god. That's crazy. Oh my god. I've never experienced like this Binghe before. He says he's sad and brokenhearted, but there's a smile on his lips and bloodlust in his eyes. Any way you look at it, he's lying through his teeth. Shen Qingqiu felt as if his neck were caught in an iron shackle. His throat bobbed with difficulty, and it was hard to breathe, let alone speak. He could still manage to form a sword seal with his fingers, but his spiritual energy circulation was sluggish, so it was pointless anyhow. No matter how perfect a seal he formed, he couldn't move Xiu Ya. And Luo Binghe was pressing harder and harder, his hand gradually tightening. Suddenly, there was a flash before Shen Qingqiu's eyes, and a giant dialogue box popped up. This dialogue box was entirely different from the one before. Before, they'd uniformly looked like Windows XP error windows, but now it was subdued, lavish, and sophisticated. Wait, the main point was the content. Accept a system tip to resolve the small complication our valued customer is facing? You call this a small complication? Shen Qingqiu mentally shouted himself hoarse. All right, is there still an easy mode? Easy mode, please. Access privileges activated. Use key item to maintain state of living. Oh shit! Can he use the jade thing? Shen Qingqiu's vision was about to go dark from suffocation. There's a key item? How many B points to buy it? Tell me! Item is already in your inventory. Use item fake jade guanyin to consume 100 of Luo Binghe's anger points. Oh fuck! Oh my god. Oh shit, the only thing Luo Binghe's adoptive mother left to him, the fake jade guanyin. Right after arriving in this world, he'd acquired this life-saving item, a high-tier piece of equipment. How did he forget that? How did he keep forgetting? He still had this get-out-of-jail-free card tucked away in his bosom. System, you finally gave a useful reminder. Shen Qingqiu mentally shouted, I will, I will, I will. His throat was about to be squeezed in two. Please note, this item is single-use and can consume a maximum of 5,000 of Luo Binghe's anger points. At the final moment, Shen Qingqiu yanked on the reins. Stop! This was Luo Binghe at only 100 anger points? Are you messing with me? If he's already this tall, dark, and deadly at 100 anger points, I don't even dare to imagine a vision he'd be at 5,000. Oh shit, maybe don't use it now. But the point was that if Shen Qingqiu was going to use an item that could potentially negate 5,000 points on a situation that was worth only 100 and thereby lose the chance to use it ever again, even if it was a matter of life and death, he needed some time to agonize and struggle. Then again, if things went on like this, it was either death from suffocation or from a pulped throat. Ugh. Just when Shen Qingqiu made up his mind, preparing to grit his teeth and use his life-saving item, the hand around his neck suddenly loosened. There was no way he could get away, even if he tried to run, so he could only continue his poser act, pretending to be chill about it. Just pretty chill. Shen Qingqiu propped himself up on the wall, barely managing to stand upright and not sink to his knees on the spot. Seconds ago, Lo Binghe had almost choked him to death, and now he was coming over all smiles to help him up, just like in the past when he had helped Shen Qingqiu alight from carriages or brought him snacks. Shen Qingqiu actually forgot to struggle. All he could feel was this schizophrenic behavior was making his hair stand on end. Lo Binghe sighed. Why did Shizhen run so fast? This disciple almost couldn't catch up. Bullshit, as if Lo Binghe hadn't just spent ages chasing him down in a game of cat and mouse as if it were nothing. He wasn't even short of breath. Shen Qingqiu panted, then gingerly opened his mouth, his voice a bit hoarse. You have quite some nerve returning in such a grandiose fashion. Aren't you afraid someone will discover your true identity? Lo Binghe's eyes flashed. Is Shizhen concerned or worried? Shen Qingqiu thought this an interesting reply. In this circumstance, was there any difference between concerned and worried? He couldn't resist asking. Unless you think I won't tell anyone. Lo Binghe looked at him, then said pityingly, Shizhen, that would require someone to believe you. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Get fucking wrecked. Sit down, Shizhen. Shen Qingqiu's heart thumped. So this meant that, just like in the original work, Lo Binghe was planning to first utterly destroy Shen Qingqiu's reputation, then painstakingly, step by step, force him down the road to ruin, methodically toying with him until he died? The original Shen Qingqiu had two major scummy qualities. One, attempting to get a taste of countless young ladies and married women alike. Two, murdering tons of his comrades as well as other people. But now when Shen Qingqiu considered himself, after he'd taken this shell, he conclusively hadn't inherited these interests and ambitions from the original. Could Lo Binghe still destroy his prestigious reputation and place in society? The system comes in. Friendly reminder. Of course. Shut up, okay? Shen Qingqiu muttered in his head. You don't need to remind me of reality, thanks. You're welcome. No B points will be deducted for this explanation. Shen Qingqiu directly X'd out of the dialogue box that had popped up. He rubbed his throat and stood for a while, then realized that Lo Binghe was actually still staring at him, seemingly with no intention of attacking again. Still looking? He can't possibly be trying to make up for lost time after our years of separation, can he? Protagonist satisfaction points plus 50. Haven't you been upgraded? Shen Qingqiu snapped at the system. Why are you omitting the reason for the point increase? Don't you dare accuse me of farming points later. I didn't even do anything. Where are these points coming from? Also, could you stop appearing for like a second? After a while, Shen Qingqiu asked out loud, What are you planning to do with your return? Lo Binghe replied, I was merely reminiscing about how Shizhen had treated me well, and I wanted to return to see you. Shen Qingqiu automatically comprehended this as a declaration that Lo Binghe had come back to settle old debts. In this round of question and answer with Lo Binghe, they had actually managed to be something like congenial, so Shen Qingqiu tentatively grew braver. Without changing his expression, he moved the hand to his sword hilt. Just to kill me? Then what about the plague in Jinlan City? Has every resident of the city treated you well? Who could have expected that as soon as those words came out of his mouth, they would touch some sore spot inside of Lo Binghe? It was like a cold star had fallen within his eyes, and the faint hint of a smile on his face disappeared without a trace. Shizhen harbors a truly relentless hatred toward the demonic race, Lo Binghe said mockingly. There was a hint of forcibly suppressed anger in his voice. No, I don't, actually. Lo Binghe clenched his teeth. No, I should say a relentless hatred towards me. See, you do understand. Wait, what? Shen Qingqiu was speechless. He'd never said that. Lo Binghe took a sudden step towards him. Shen Qingqiu's expression quickly became cautious, and he retreated a step, but behind his back was a wall, so there was nowhere to go. Oh my god. Their gazes collided in midair, then Lo Binghe seemed to realize that he was too worked up, and he closed his eyes, only opening them again after a few moments had passed. Oh my god. He's crazy! Does Shizun honestly think that I would kill, burn, massacre cities, and inevitably topple countries just because of that half of my lineage? Shen Qingqiu could only keep his silence. If only he had a physical copy of Proud Immortal Demon Wei in his hand, he would have slapped it into Lo Binghe's face. If you have a smoking gun, then use it. The latter part of that 20 million word epic was chock full of the ammunition he wanted, with all the things Lo Binghe had done. The phrases kill, burn, massacre cities, and topple countries, and not a dog or fowl was spared, were barely even exaggerations for dramatic effect. When Shen Qingqiu looked down without a single word, Lo Binghe took it as tacit agreement. He sneered. Then why did you tell me not to put too much weight on race and that no one is intolerable to the heavens? Why say such pompous things? His face abruptly grew dark, malice overflowing from between his brows, and he lashed out. Utter hypocrisy! He snarled. Shen Qingqiu had been prepared for this. At this moment, he rapidly retreated, only just managing to dodge. When he turned his head, he saw that the wall he'd just been leaning against had been pulverized. Oh my god! Oh my god! Though he'd long known that after he crawled back out of a place as brutal as the Endless Abyss, Lo Binghe's temperament would change, and he never thought it would actually be such an extreme 180. Moody didn't even begin to describe him. Having known this would come about in the novel ahead of time was one thing, but seeing a once familiar person change like this was another entirely. It hit Shen Qingqiu especially hard because this outcome was basically his single-handed creation. It seemed like Lo Binghe hadn't really intended to hit him. After venting his anger with the attack, he calmed down a bit, tilted his head, and reached out, seemingly to grab hold of Shen Qingqiu. So Shen Qingqiu hastily drew Xiu Ya. It'd been a long time since he'd drawn his sword by hand. Usually he summoned it with a sword seal, but now that he had no spiritual energy, he could only wield that blade manually. There was nothing to be done. He couldn't just offer himself up for capture. At least in this moment, he absolutely couldn't just sit still and await death. He'd made a truly gargantuan blunder. He thought Lo Binghe would train for the full 5 years before he crawled out of the Endless Abyss. Who could have guessed that he would activate his cheats to even greater potential and speed up the process by half? And Shen Qingqiu's calculation, the Sun Moon Dew mushroom he'd been growing as a life-saving trump card, wasn't yet at the point where he could use it. Watching Shen Qingqiu, Lo Binghe slowly raised a hand, letting him see the violet-black demonic energy roiling in his palm. Shizun, he said leisurely, take a guess. If I grab Shuya, how many strikes will it take before it's corroded all the way through? No need to guess. I bet 50 cents on one strike at most. Shen Qingqiu felt even more miserable. Lo Binghe took another step closer, and Shen Qingqiu could only raise his sword to take the attack. He had mentally prepared for Shuya's destruction, but in a blink, as if Lo Binghe had seen something, he started. Then he suddenly withdrew the demonic energy in his palm and caught the tip of the sword with his bare hand. Shen Qingqiu hadn't thought he would actually cut Lo Binghe. That's the second time. In his moment of shock, Lo Binghe chopped down on his wrist. Shen Qingqiu's hand loosened in pain, and his sword fell, whereupon it was sent flying with a flick of Lo Binghe's finger. Lo Binghe clamped down on Shen Qingqiu's wrist with a single hand, and fresh blood flowed from Lo Binghe's palm, soaking Shen Qingqiu's sleeve. The blood kept flowing, and Shen Qingqiu started to panic, worried for no reason. While Shen Qingqiu was still in the midst of confusion, Lo Binghe flipped his hand over. You were infected? Oh my god, he's gonna cure him. Some small red patches were scattered across the back of Shen Qingqiu's hand, a few more than there had been during the day. Lo Binghe's slender fingers flitted across his hand in a barely there touch, and the red patches disappeared under his fingertips, like ink dropped in water. As expected, a little thing like this was no threat to Lo Binghe. Lo Binghe seemed to have moderated his expression. This hand of Shizun's is plagued with misfortunes. It turned out they had thought the same thing. As Shen Qingqiu took in his spotless hand, he found himself even less able to understand the course of Lo Binghe's thoughts. Given what had made him pause, perhaps this hand had reminded him of the good old days. If Shen Qingqiu thought about it, this same limb had blocked the poisoned armor spikes way back when. Perhaps it had rekindled some old affections? Just as he wondered this, a fist suddenly slammed into his stomach. Oh shit, we got some good art right here. Look at this. Oh my god, this is crazy. He's got him right up against the wall. Lo Binghe smiled. An eye for an eye. Since Shizhen showed the seeds he should reap the bitter fruit himself, Shizhen should personally make up for the wounds he gave me. Shen Qingqiu assumed that Lo Binghe was venting his anger for the emotional trauma inflicted on him 3 years ago by injuring his old master in a relatively comparable way. But then there was a sharp pain on his scalp, and his neck was forced to straighten so that Lo Binghe could press his hand to Shen Qingqiu's lips. The taste of blood flooded into his mouth. Oh my god! Oh my god, this is so kinky. Shen Qingqiu's eyes shot wide as he finally realized that the wound Lo Binghe was talking about was the one he had only just left on his hand with Shu Ya. Motherfucker, don't drink it! Don't drink it! I absolutely can't drink this! Shen Qingqiu furiously slapped away that hand and bent over to retch up the mouthfuls of blood he had swallowed, but Lo Binghe dragged him back up and continued to pour blood into his mouth. Lo Binghe further opened the wound on his hand. Hot blood flowed endlessly from it, yet he seemed even happier. Shizhen, don't spit it out. Even though a heavenly demon's blood is dirty, you won't necessarily die from drinking it, right? He wouldn't die, but he would live a fate far worse than death. Oh my god! Oh my god! That is some crazy kinky shit. Holy shit. Inappropriate use of blood. Forcing him to drink it through his palm. Oh my god, that's crazy. Love it. That's hot. Shen Qingqiu didn't know how he made it back to the Jinzi weapons shop. Even after climbing the stairs and entering his room, he was still in a daze and he fell straight onto the bed. He could only feel his brain, stomach, and blood churning and seething. Things were crawling about back and forth inside them. He restlessly tossed and turned the entire night. In the distant past, heavenly demons had been able to control their blood after it left their body, and this ability had been inherited by all members of their bloodline. If someone drank their blood, death was indeed not the only possible consequence. Worst of all, said the possible consequences were numerous. In the original work, Lo Binghe had mastered control of his blood and used it for a wide range of purposes, including poison. He could even fashion it into a parasitic mite-like creature that could then use to destroy a target from within. He also deployed it as a location tracker, a physical means of brainwashing, a sex tool, etc. What? A sex tool? Thank you, CSZL, for your donation. Our White Lotus may be a bit singed now. Whoops. Yeah, he just seems a little bit different. Just a tiny bit different now. Soaked in cold sweat, Shen Qingqiu drifted between dream and reality, and he only fell into a deep sleep at daybreak. He hadn't slept for long when a wave of earth-shaking cheers jolted him awake, and he staggered out of bed. As he'd gone to bed fully clothed, he didn't need to dress. Just as he was about to open the door, it flung open itself, and in burst a lively, bouncing youth. "The gates are open! The gates are open!" Yang Jishuan said, agitated. "What? Those red monsters were all captured, so the gates were opened! Jinlan City finally managed to pull through!" Jiang Yisheng shouted. Then, at the thought of his father's death, his eyes filled with tears. Shen Qingqiu's entire body felt awful, and his head hurt like it had been split open, but he still wanted to comfort the youth. Even as he did, he thought, that was so fast. They were all captured in one night? As the gates were opened, the cultivators from various sects who had been observing from several kilometers away all poured into the city, and they gathered into a large open plaza. Mu Qingfang was also there, distributing the medicinal pills he'd prepared. Jinlan City, which had been wholly lifeless only a few days ago, was now overflowing with joy. Altogether, 7 sowers had been captured alive, and all of them were quarantined inside a Jiaohua monastery barrier. Shen Qingqiu saw Lo Jingge looking pensive. He went up and patted his shoulder. "What happened last night?" Lo Jingge threw him a look, then replied with a question. "What's up with your disciple?" "What did he do?" "Last night, he caught 5, and I caught 2, Lo Jingge said slowly. He stared at Shen Qingqiu. Exactly what happened during the years Lo Binghe was missing. Oh my god, it was like, "Who hurt you?" And then he had to go and get them all so they couldn't hurt him again. Lo Binghe hadn't just stolen kills from directly beneath the master of Baijian Peak's nose, he'd actually beaten his skill count. This was a devastating blow to the worldview of any heir to Baijian Peak. It was practically a great shame of humiliation. And aren't these numbers official confirmation that when it comes to power levels, currently the Lo Binghe to Lo Jingge ratio is 5-2? Suddenly, the nearby disciples tempered their outcry and moved to clear space, making a path. From not far off, the leaders of several sects walked steadily towards them. Yue Qingyuan and Huanhua Palace's old palace master arrived side by side, followed closely by the leaders of Tianyi Temple and Jiaohua Monastery. Rena Deals, thank you for your donation. Fun thought, how Airplane came up with this much kink. Definitely. Airplane was writing this story with his dick, for sure. Lo Binghe stood right next to the old palace master. Illuminated by the first ray of early morning sun, Lo Binghe looked invigorated, glowing with life. When Shen Qingqiu compared himself to his old student, he became instantly depressed. He wrote Pride Immortal Demon Way one-handed, for sure. Even Yue Qingyan had something to say about it. When he passed Shen Qingqiu, he looked at him for a while and said, worried, "Your complexion is far too poor. As expected, I shouldn't have let you come." Shen Qingqiu gave him a hollow smile. "It's only because Mu Shidi's patients were wailing and howling all night. I couldn't sleep much." Mu Qingfang had finished distributing the medicine. On returning, he also looked at Shen Qingqiu with surprise. "Shishong, even with all the noise we made, it shouldn't have left you in such a dreadful state after a single night. Have you taken the medication I left in your room?" I took it, Shen Qingqiu said in a rush. "Please don't ask me if I've taken my meds today, ever again." Then a clamor surged from the other side of the crowd. Shen Qingqiu turned to look and promptly wanted to drop his forehead into his hands. A middle-aged man in mourning clothes stood at the head of a large group of men and women, and he insisted on kneeling before Lo Binghe. This was Jinlan City's governor. The governor was beside himself with emotion. "Our small town was saved through the sacrifice of many cultivators. This kindness can never be repaid. If in the future you have orders for us, we will fulfill them no matter the cost." The corners of Shen Qingqiu's mouth twitched. What a standard plot development. With the monsters cleared out, it was time to collect followers and reap rewards, and at this sort of time, it was always the protagonist alone who stole the spotlight. Anyone else who contributed to the effort would be treated as part of the scenery. Even if Shen Qingqiu excluded himself, Lo Qingge had caught 2 sowers, and moments ago, Mu Qingfan had been right there, distributing medicine. Lo Binghe's response was also bog standard. "Please rise, Governor," he said humbly. Jinlan City made it safely through this calamity due to the efforts of many sects working together to support each other. It would be difficult for a single person's efforts to accomplish such. His words and manner were sincere and appropriate. He didn't diminish his own glory, but within this, the other sects were placated. The governor was once more bursting with praise. "Last night I saw this young master single-handedly subduing those wicked things with my own eyes. Such outstanding cultivation. As expected, a hero's nature is evident even in youth, and famed masters raise outstanding disciples. Palace Master, your sect succession is in good hands." Upon hearing these words, "famed masters raise outstanding disciples," Lo Binghe's smile deepened and his gaze intentionally, or not, flitted over to land briefly on Shen Qingqiu's face. Like a dragonfly touching water, Shen Qingqiu spread his fan to avoid it. During the praise, old palace master's gaze toward Lo Binghe was filled with parental affection. Others might not have been able to tell, but Shen Qingqiu was keenly aware that this was the gaze of one looking at a successor/son-in-law whom one was proud. Those 7 sowers who had been trapped together squawked and shouted, agitating the people. "How should these vile things be dealt with?" someone asked. "Shidi, any thoughts?" asked Yue Qingyan. Shen Qingqiu muttered. "Qingqiu has seen related records in old texts that sowers fear high temperatures. It appears that only by burning them in a raging fire can we remove their body's infectious ability to bring decay." This was eminently easy to understand. Sterilization required high temperatures. Yet one cultivator protested in shock. How could we resort to such a method? If we do this, will we not be as barbaric and cruel as the demon race? "Cook 'em like lobsters." All too soon, his voice was drowned out by the enraged shouts of Jinlan City's surviving citizens. During the days the plague had raged unchecked, the city had lost countless innocent lives, the victims' bodies festering in death in ways too horrible for words. A perfectly fine and flourishing merchant city had been reduced to the horrific sight it was today. At this time, anyone expressing sympathy or advocating for humane treatment of the sowers risked becoming the enemy of the entire population. The handful of cultivators who did so soon found themselves surrounded by roars of "Burn them!" and "Burn anyone who objects alongside!" Of the 7 sowers within the barrier, most of them bared their teeth, cackling with boisterous laughter and showing no signs of remorse. Shen Qingqiu supposed they probably even thought themselves heroes who'd created a bumper crop for their own race. Only a single sower, the most petite of the group, wept miserably. At the sight of this misery, sympathy swelled in some few hearts. Qin Wanyue bit her lip, then approached Lo Binghe. "Luo Shishong, that frail little sower looks so pitiful." "They look so pitiful," she said. But however pitiable the sower looked, were they as woebegone as those who'd been infected by the plague for no reason, whose bodies had rotted until they died? Lo Binghe smiled at her, but did not answer. In Shen Qingzhou's eyes, in terms of reactions to girls, this was far too perfunctory. It probably didn't serve a passing grade. If he thought back on the original work at this juncture, shouldn't Lo Binghe have taken the chance to express his agreement with tender and sympathetic words? How come Lo Binghe's training had increased while his girl-wooing skills had decreased? Oh no, instead of getting strong and straight, he became crazy and gay. But what could be done about it when Lo Binghe had a face that, regardless of angle or expression, was always as silky as jade, assured and elegant? Qin Wenwei was momentarily dazzled, and she flung the words she had just said to the back of her mind, content to continue watching from the sidelines. At this moment, something entirely unexpected occurred. That petite sewer threw itself forward, slamming into the side of the barrier with a thump. Its scarlet face appeared even more sinister due to its wailing and bawling, and it shouted, "Immortal Master Shen, you must not let them burn me to death. I'm begging you. Immortal Master Shen, please save me." Shen Qingzhou felt like some string in his brain had suddenly snapped. Who the fuck are you? What's with randomly throwing yourself around and calling for Immortal Master Shen? I really don't know you, okay? From all across the plaza, thousands of eyes summarily landed on Shen Qingzhou. "We were only following your orders," the sewer continued to wail. "You never said that we'd be burned." WTF! What a ridiculous development. And on top of that, it was such a basic, crude accusation. Shen Qingzhou felt like he was drunk. Oh shit. But the old palace master's response made him feel even more inebriated. Shouldn't Immortal Master Shen provide an explanation for this exclamation? Anonymous D! Oh my god! Thank you so much for your donation! That's so nice of you! That is so generous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Anonymous D says, "This is my first time joining a stream and your videos always make me so happy. You and Stitch always radiate so much positivity and love." Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you feel that. We definitely have lots of positivity and love to share. I really appreciate you saying that. It's so nice of you. Stitch just winked at me. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. I really appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Thank you for watching. But the old palace master's response made him feel even more inebriated. Shouldn't Immortal Master Shen provide an explanation for this exclamation? Such a low-level trick, yet someone had still believed it. Yes, someone echoed a second after, an explanation must be provided. And it wasn't only one person. The 12 peaks rallied together against outsiders. As soon as these words were spoken, quite a few of Sangchong Mountain sect cultivators revealed expressions of displeasure. Yue Qingyuan was even more direct. His face became stony. Anyone with eyes should be able to tell that this thing is unhappy about its impending death. Qi Qingji said scornfully. It wants someone to share its fate, so it's obviously framing him. All demonic evildoers are the same, yet some people are still taking the bait. How utterly laughable! Then why has it made no other claims and instead focused only on Immortal Master Shen? The old palace master asked lightly. This point is worth considering as well. Shen Qingzhou was wholly defeated by this logic. According to that line of thinking, anytime someone was singled out and accused of something, the question was of their innocence was worth considering. The bar for framing someone was way too low. Lo Binghe spoke not a single word, though he stared over with rapt attention. Perhaps it was only Shen Qingzhou's imagination, but he kept feeling like those pitch-black, star-like eyes were full of smiles. In the original work, Shen Qingzhou became unpardonably loathed due to the slaughter of his own sect siblings. He personally murdered Lo Qingge, but in the present, Lo Qingge was standing right next to Shen Qingzhou. If someone tried to beat him up, Lo Qingge might even protect him, so obviously he couldn't be charged with that crime. Could it be that, no longer stained all over by crimes he hadn't committed, he'd be slandered to the point that it made up the change? Given Lo Binghe's character post-darkening, that wasn't impossible. A Huanhua Palace disciple suddenly stepped forward, his face decorated with a few pockmarks. This was the disciple who ridiculed Shen Qingzhou in the abandoned building the day before. He bowed before he spoke. "Palace Master, this disciple has just discovered something and isn't sure if it's appropriate to say." "If you have something to say, then speak," said Shen Qingzhou expressionlessly. "You've already opened your mouth, so why even say if you're unsure if it's appropriate to do so? How insincere." Wasn't this disciple slapping his own face? Said disciple likely hadn't thought a senior would scold him. His face flared between red and white until even the pockmarks changed color, but he didn't dare snap back and only glared viciously at Shen Qingzhou. Yesterday, this disciple and several sect siblings all realized that there were a few infected red patches on Senior Shen's arm. We saw them very plainly, but if you look today, those red patches have all disappeared. Ooh. Sangchong Mountain Sect Senior Mu said himself that the pills he provided the city were created on the spot and they need 24 hours to take effect. It's even possible that they won't be effective. Luo Shishong took the cure right in front of us. And the red patches on his hand have yet to fade. So why has only Senior Shen recovered so soon? His red patches have fully disappeared. 'Cause I was choking on Lobinga's blood earlier. Whatever the reason, this disciple thinks that highly suspicious. Shen Qingqiu sighed internally. He should have known that Lobinghe wouldn't remove the seeds of decay out of kindness. My Shidi oversees Qingjing Peak, Yue Qingyuan says steadily. As a peak lord, he has always been a model and member of the sect. His moral character is noble and unsullied. This entire sect both knows and understands. For everyone to believe such baseless claims so easily, you're far too susceptible to provocation. Shen Qingqiu's face was going to turn red. Shishong, don't do this. Are you for real? If you're speaking against your conscience just to protect me, I'll really feel awful. Whether it's the original flavor or the current one, I bet neither of us can even touch the edges of noble and unsullied moral character. Well, no, the original flavor could definitely touch the last word. And there's a footnote. In the original text, a noble and unsullied moral character, but it's written in Chinese, but the last character, when taken out of context, can also mean sex. Therefore, Shen Qingqiu jokes the original flavor might not match the entire phrase, but with his various scandals, he definitely matches that word alone. Haha, sex. Is that so? Asked the old palace master. That differs from what I've heard. Shen Qingqiu's heart sank. It seemed like this was the day that he would be thoroughly dragged through the mud. He still narrowed his eyes. Since when did hearsay from other sects become the basis for conclusions on the moral character of their heir among Sangchong Mountain Qingjing Peak? If it were only hearsay, of course we would not trust it so easily. But this information came from one of your esteemed sect's very own members. The old palace master looked all around him before he continued. Everyone must know that it is common for each sect's disciples to form friendships with one another, so hearing some rumors and gossip is inevitable. However, the matter of Peak Lord Shen deliberately abusing and doing grievous harm to the disciples under his care, this alone ought to render him unworthy of the phrase noble and unsullied moral character. Shen Qingqiu's head was going to swell. Grievous harm to the disciple under his care? This one was true. During Lobinghe's early developmental period, Shen Qingqiu had mistreated him in every imaginable way. His glorious deeds using the protagonist as child labor could have filled a tragic novel of great suffering all on their own. The number of other disciples Shen Qingqiu had harassed or even driven out because of their talent also numbered high enough to rival a gymnastics team. It was just the one who'd grievously harmed them wasn't him. It was the original flavor. Since you are aware they are only rumors and gossip, you must be aware that they do not merit discussion, Yue Qingyuan said solemnly. It's true that my Shidi doesn't typically like to pamper his disciples, but to accuse him of grievous harm is too much. A soft, sweet voice broke in. Qin Wenyue had reached her limit. She had yet to speak up for her beloved. Then may this woman ask sect leader Yue, would ordering a youth in his teens to face a demonic elder with hundreds of years of training, one who wore armor covered in poisonous spikes into battle, not count as persecution and grievous harm? This time, Shen Qingqiu couldn't just chill prettily on the sidelines and listen. Luca is really sleepy. Oh my god, thank you so much for gifting 20 memberships. Holy fuck. Thank you so much. Oh my god, can you see them all rolling in? That's crazy. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I know how much that is. That's crazy. Oh my god, that's so generous of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Luca. Oh my goodness, it's still coming in. Welcome. Oh, so many new kickflips. This is amazing. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Luca, that is so kind of you. Thank you. Luca is really sleepy, said just felt like giving to the community. That is a lot. That is really a lot. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. That means the world. Wei Wuxian's wig says, Gictor Nation is growing. More people for the game nights. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. That's so amazing. However, the matter of Peak Lord Shen deliberately abusing and doing grievous harm to the disciples under his care, this alone ought to render him unworthy of the phrase noble and unsullied moral character. Oh, where are we? This time, Shen Qingqiu couldn't just chill prettily on the sidelines and listen. Whether it counts or not, I do not know, he said in an even tone, but what I do know is that an instant where a Shizen intercepts a suit of poisoned armor, pushes aside his disciple, and shields him with his own body probably can't count as persecution. What do you think, Lo Binghe? Oh shit. Of all the cultivators present, some looked astonished to hear this name, and many of those were from Sangchong Mountain sect. Some had merely been suspicious when they'd seen that face, such as Qi Qingqi, who now stunned in shock. As for certain members of the logistics team who'd nearly fallen to his knees on the spot upon entering Jinlan City and coming face to face with Lo Binghe, after his heart had undergone a torrential bout of rain and wind, he'd since become calm and composed. Because Shen Qingqiu had often punished Lo Binghe in the past, Yue Qingyan had also seen him a few times, but that had been while Lo Binghe was still young. Afterward, Shen Qingqiu had elevated Lo Binghe and often sent him away from Qingjing Peak to handle all sorts of tasks, which had made it harder to actually meet him. At the Immortal Alliance conference, although he'd seen Lo Binghe's face in the crystal mirror, it had only been for a brief moment, and so the mirrors hadn't been especially clear. So, Yue Qingyan actually hadn't recognized the shining, handsome young man at the Huanhua Palace Master's side as Shen Qingqiu's own beloved disciple. Before this moment, Yue Qingyan had heard that the Palace Master's most highly regarded disciple was also his most senior, so he'd mistaken Lo Binghe for Gong Yixiao. Thus, at the moment when Shen Qingqiu pointed out the truth, he too was stunned. From amid the crowd, Lo Binghe stared at Shen Qingqiu with unwavering gaze. Shen Qingqiu tilted his head and snapped open his fan. He actually had a mind to smile back, though it might have only looked like a taunting curl of his lips. It would have been nonsense to say he wasn't a bit mad. Shen Qingqiu admittedly often worried about his own life, and he had a lot of opinions about Lo Binghe, but that time he'd blocked a blow for Lo Binghe had been pure instinct. Although Lo Binghe probably wouldn't have needed anyone's help to escape danger. So really, from every angle you could think of, Shen Qingqiu was the one who'd been most screwed over by these 3 matches, and here they were, actually trying to use them to smear his reputation. Nataria, thank you so much for joining my membership! I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, and welcome. He was furious, Lo Binghe said slowly. The kindness Shizen showed by protecting me with his own body, I will never dare to forget it. It's really you? Shen Qingqiu, didn't you say he died? Qi Qingqi said in disbelief. She looked at Lo Binghe again. Since you're alive, why didn't you return to Qingjing Peak? Don't you know that because of you, your Shizen was out of... Shen Qingqiu hastily burst into a fit of dry cough so violent that Qi Qingqi had to stop and stare at him. Oh my god, he's like, don't let on how gay I am. I mean, Shen Qingqiu hastily burst into a fit of dry cough so violent, Qi Qingqi had to stop and stare at him. Shen Qingqiu had a profound desire to bow and beg before her. He had a premonition that the next words he had been about to hear would undoubtedly have been out of his mind with grief. Fucking hell, he never wanted to hear those words again. A wave of goosebumps hit him. If Lo Binghe heard those words, he'd laugh hard enough to crack that platonic ideal of a male lead's face. This is exactly what's so inexplicable, the old palace master persisted. He plainly did not die, so why did you insist that he did? And why was he not willing to return when he apparently had the option to do so? Shen Qingqiu was sick of this bad faith tone. If he wasn't willing to return, there's nothing I could do. He may come and go freely as he pleases. It's all up to him. If the palace master wishes to say something, please say it outright. The old palace master smiled. Peak Lord Shen knows what I wish to say, and anyone here with a clear mind must also understand by now. It's true that these demonic sowers should be annihilated by fire, but if there was someone directing them from behind the scenes, exacerbating the situation, we certainly cannot let them get away with it. They absolutely must explain themselves to the whole of Jinlan City. Oh my god, I just realized Jinlan City It's like Xiao City, the Jin sect and the Lan sect. MXTX knew what she was doing. With these words, he successfully stoked the flames of hatred within the Jinland City survivors. Having just suffered a great calamity, they were already terrified and bitter, itching for a target at whom to direct their rage. Quite a few people began to raise their voices in clamor. Shizun loathes evil, said Lobingha. When it comes to demons, he only hates being denied the satisfaction of killing them personally. How then could he collude with them? Oh my god! The weight in those words. Kate says, kicked her focus. Sorry. Oh. This appeared to be him speaking up for Shen Qingqiu. However, he was the only one present who understood the true meaning behind the words. When it comes to demons, he only hates being denied the satisfaction of killing them personally. Having nothing to lose, Shen Qingqiu cut straight to the point. Lo Binghe, right now, are you a disciple of Qingjing Peak or a member of Huanhua Palace? The old palace master sneered. After all this, Peak Lord Shen is once again willing to recognize this disciple? I never expelled him from my tutelage, said Shen Qingqiu. Since he is still willing to call me Shizun, he must surely be willing to acknowledge me as such. He said these— this is so, like, filthy doing in front of everybody. He said these words purely with the intention of aggravating Lo Binghe, but it seemed he didn't succeed. Lo Binghe's gaze flickered, and perhaps it was an illusion, but it seemed as if his eyes had somewhat cleared. Within moments, the crowd had split into two defined camps. Sparks flew through the air, charged with the hostility of imminent battle. As for the sowers who had instigated this conflict, they were now forgotten on the side. No longer did anyone care about how they were dealt with. Then there came a woman's sweetly charming voice. Shenjuo, are you Shenjuo? Upon hearing this name, Shen Qingqiu's serene and placid countenance nearly fissured into the Great Rift Valley. Fuck! Are the heavens determined to finish me today? I'm done for. It's that woman! It's Chuo Haitang! In the original work, Chuo Haitang's appearance meant only one thing, and that was Shen Qingqiu's complete and utter fall from grace. Though Chuo Haitang was no longer a girl in her prime, her face was still as fair as a magnolia flower, her makeup vibrant and beautiful. Along with her slender figure and full bosom, her looks were verily striking. And since her looks were striking, she naturally couldn't escape the fate of becoming a member of Lo Binghe's harem. The problem was that she'd once had an affair with Shen Qingqiu. Congratulations! Having had a dubious relationship with two A Stallion novel's male lead wives, the original flavor Shen Qingqiu could be considered undoubtedly unparalleled. At least in all of the Stallion novels Shen Yuan had ever read, there was no second to be found. Oh, she's beautiful. Is that you? She looks cool. I like her little cape. As one could well imagine, this was unequivocally the reason for that second massive flood of castrate Shen Qingqiu. Castrate or we unsubscribe comments in the reviews. A raging barrage of fuck, 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 fuck to the ninth power bombarded Shen Qingqiu's mind. Steps away, Chuo Haitang held her sword across her chest as though it came down to it. She was ready to kill him before slitting her own throat. I'm asking you a question. Why do you not look at me? Big sis, how could I dare look at you? You're here for my life. An expression of touching sorrow filled Chuo Haitang's face. So that's why. No wonder I searched for so many years, but still never found you again. I see. You'd already flown to the summit and become the aloof and lofty master of Qingjing Peak. Ha ha, how splendid. Shen Qingqiu really didn't know where to look or what to say. He just stared straight ahead, doing his best to keep his expression impassively detached. Everyone was whispering amongst themselves. Yue Qingyuan said in a low voice, Qingqiu, this young lady is indeed a formal acquaintance of yours? Former? Shen Qingqiu's heart flooded with tears. Shishong, don't ask me anything more. Former acquaintance? Chi Haitang continued sorrowfully. I am not only a former acquaintance, this man, who looks so dignified, was once my childhood sweetheart, and I am his wife! Oh, fuck. Oh, no. When Lo Binghe heard this, his eyebrows began to twitch madly. No, you're inarguably Lo Binghe's wife. Wake up! Huh? Is this really true? Shang Xinghua said in surprise. Why have I never heard Shen Shishong mention it before? Shen Qingqiu curled his lips at him, giving him a fake smile. Can you stop adding fuel to the fire? Moe Melon, thank you so much for joining my membership. I really appreciate that. Welcome. Thank you so much. Who created this awful melodramatic content for the purpose of cracking up Shen Qingqiu's scum and hateful points, huh? Yet you have the nerve to just stand back and enjoy the show? And all of you over there, aren't you cultivators? Why do you love gossip so much? Go away, get out, out. Chui Haitong sneered. He's a beast in a man's clothes, a degenerate wearing a cultured mask. Of course he wouldn't mention his shameful deeds. Master Wu Chen had interacted with the trio from Sangchong Mountain for some time and received Shen Qingqiu's care, so he had a favorable impression of him. Previously, when Sangchong Mountain, Sact, and Huanhua Palace had been arguing, he had been unable to interject, but he spoke up now. Amitabha, if this benefactor has something to say, please explain it properly and explain it completely. Blind accusations do not invite confidence. Shen Qingqiu wept to himself. Master, I know you're doing this for me, but if she explains it completely, I'll suffer even more. What I'm truly worried about isn't having done shameful deeds, it's taking the fall for ones I didn't. Just like that, Chu Haitong became the focus of everyone's attention. Face flushed red with emotion, she puffed her chest and said loudly, if a single word I, Chu Haitong, say from here on out is false, may my heart be pierced by 10,000s of the demon's poisonous arrows, and may I be undeserving of a peaceful death. She pointed straight at Shen Qingqiu, fury burning in her eyes. This person is now Shangchong Mountain Sect's Peak Lord of Qingjing Peak, Shen Qingqiu, the widely renowned Shuya sword, but no one knows what kind of thing he used to be. Her language is rather harsh, and Qi Qingqi's shapely willow leaf brows rose in anger. Watch your words! Zhou Haitong was some sort of hallmaster in a small, random sect, so when rebuked by a leader of a big shot organization like Sangchong Mountain, she unconsciously backed up a step. But the old palace master said, Peak Lord Qi, there's no need for anger. Why not let this young lady continue? We cannot silence people's mouths. Oh my god, old palace master, get the fuck out. Zhou Haitong looked at him and clenched her teeth, the hatred in her eyes overcoming the fear, and her voice once again grew loud. When he was 12 years old, he was but a slave my family had purchased from traveling child traffickers. Oh, fun. What the fuck? As the 9th child in that band, he was called Xiao Juo. My parents saw that the traffickers had abused him and thought him pitiful, so they brought him home, taught him how to read, and paid for his food and clothing. Kept him warm, fed, and free of worries. My brother also looked after him, and they were exceptionally close. When he was 15 and our parents passed, my brother became the head of the house and freed him from his slave contract, and even recognized him as a foster brother. And I, because I had grown up with him, was deceived. I really thought that we genuinely loved each other, so we were betrothed. Oh. Shen Qingqiu stood there, forced to listen to his own dark history, and alongside thousands of people. The thousands of thoughts in his mind had transformed into tearful silence. Tears began to well up and overflow in Zhou Haitong's eyes. The year my brother was 19, a wandering cultivator came to our city. He saw that the area had an abundance of spiritual qi, so he established an altar at the city gates. Any young boy or girl under the age of 18 could go there for a spiritual evaluation. That cultivator wanted to select someone with exceptional talent and take them as his disciple. As he knew immortal techniques, everyone in the city admired him, and Shen Zhou also went to the evaluation altar. His aptitude was good, and the cultivator settled on him, so he joyfully came running back, wanting to leave my family. Of course my elder brother did not agree. In his eyes, cultivating toward immortality was purely a pipe dream. Not to mention, Shen Zhou and I were already betrothed, so how could he abandon his family and leave now of all times? He and my elder brother had a great argument, and afterwards he lost all his cheer. We thought he was only temporarily depressed, and that after he thought it through, he would naturally come to accept it. Then her expression abruptly changed. Who could have known that that very night this man reveled in his ugly nature? He lost his mind and killed my brother and many of our servants all at once, leaving bodies scattered all over the estate, then disappeared from the city, and with that cultivator the same night. Oh, fuck. Huh. Well, interesting. After this calamity befell my household, alone As a lone, weak woman, I was powerless to support it, and just like that, a large estate fell apart. I searched and searched for the nemesis of mine for many years, but never found any leads. The cultivator who'd taken him as a disciple had been killed many years ago, and the dead end became even deader. Had I not come to Jinland City today, I fear I would have spent my entire life not knowing that what this vile ingrate who killed his benefactors with his own hands had actually managed to climb all the way up to the position of peak lord in the #1 sect under the heavens. Though he is much changed from when I knew him, that face I could not mistake, that face, even if it burned to ash. I am not afraid to speak the name of the cultivator who incited him to murder either, for they are a murderer of countless innocents, whose name has been on the wanted list for years. Wu Yanzi. This Wu Yanzi was notorious with innumerable misdeeds to his name. When it suddenly came forth that one of the 12 peak lords had been his disciple, everyone was horrified. But amid the sea of sighs and gasps, Shen Qingqiu found himself growing calm. Deep down, he was actually a little skeptical. Zhou Haitang relayed a compelling tale full of ups and downs, but the experiences she described weren't free of logical holes. Shen Qingqiu didn't mean to discriminate against the original flavor, but the novel had always tried its hardest to illustrate the unlikable traits of Shen Qingqiu's personality: pig-headed, petty, tactless, uncharismatic, antisocial, and a sham. With that kind of disposition, it was hard to believe that the young Shen Qingqiu had endeared himself so totally to people entirely unrelated to him that they would treat him as family. Unfortunately, no one else was able to catch these sorts of details. At first, Shen Qingqiu had been afraid of the plotline, yes, but not especially afraid. There was no definite evidence to prove these stale old events had occurred other than Zhou Haitang's testimony, so he'd figured that as long as he doubled down and refused to confess, he could make Zhou Haitang wonder whether she had accused the wrong person. The whole affair would be no more than an indistinct smear on Shen Qingqiu's character background. It wasn't like there was anything he could do to change what had happened. Shen Qingqiu truly had wronged Zhou Haitang, but that was the original flavor Shen Qingqiu. The new guy didn't want to carry the black pot of blame. He would have preferred to compensate her properly at a different time and place. And anyway, he hadn't killed Lo Qingge, nor had he molested Ning Ying Ying. He'd done nothing to warrant a fall from grace like unto 100-floor skyscraper toppling in a single night, nothing to warrant being chased down and beaten by the masses. But everything was different now. The problem was that all of the indistinct smears on his reputation had massed together. First, the sower had accused him of treachery, then came the old palace master to guide the case, and now Zhou Haitang had appeared to denounce him. Thank you so much for joining my membership, Michelle. Thank you so much. So many new people today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. All this could together serve as proof of his dishonorable character, a scum of a man who pulled a hit and run on his lover, plus a traitor colluding with the demon race, plus a disciple of a wanted fugitive. What an excellent example of making something already perfect even more so, like adding flowers to brocade. Moto! Oh my god, Moto! Thank you so much, Moto! Oh my god! Moto ASMR just gifted 20 memberships. Oh my god. Thank you so much. Hey, Kibby. Hi, Kibby. I recognize some of the people that were gifted. Oh my goodness. Welcome, everybody. There's so many new people. Thank you so much, Moto ASMR. Oh my god. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. That literally means the world to me and helps my channel so much. So thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I hope you're having a really good night, Moto. That's just so kind of you to do. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Moto sent a donation too. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Moto. Moto says my fellow Haitong haters are here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, what the heck's up with her? Oh my gosh. I'm very interested to see what's gonna happen next. The problem was that in all the indistinct smears on his reputation had massed together, first the sewer had accused him of treachery, then came the old palace master to guide the case, and now Cho Haitong had appeared to denounce them. All this could together serve as proof of his dishonorable character. A scum of a man who'd pulled a hit and run on his lover, plus a traitor colluding with the demon race, plus a disciple of a wanted fugitive. What an excellent example of making something already perfect even more so, like adding flowers to a brocade. As things seem to be perfectly aligned by pure coincidence, accumulate, people no longer take them to be coincidental. As things that seem to be perfectly aligned by pure coincidence accumulate, people no longer take them to be coincidental. Sect leader Yue, favoritism has no place when one deals with this kind of matter, said the old palace master. Otherwise, word may get out that a magnificent sect like Sangchong Mountain harbors such unsavory characters. How would you explain yourselves to the masses? Yue Qingyuan showed no reaction. Light work, no reaction. So, what is the palace master saying? As I see it, let us make temporary arrangements for Immortal Master Shen in Huanhua Palace. A decision can be made after the matter is thoroughly investigated. How about it? Everyone knew what those arrangements actually meant. Beneath the foundation of Huanhua Palace's residence for short-term stays was the water prison. Oh, it's coming! Its terrain was complicated, made even more so by Huanhua Palace's maze array. This secret array of theirs was on an entirely different level from the ones they'd used to keep non-cultivators away from their palace. On top of that, the interior of the water prison was heavily guarded, and it boasted a complete set of torture chambers and related equipment, incomparably professional. Without exception, every single person incarcerated within that place was a cultivator guilty of terrible crimes, their hands dyed in blood, or one who'd violated the most serious taboos. To put it simply, Huanhua Palace's water prison was the public prison of the cultivation world. In addition, whenever some cultivator was under suspicion of endangering the human realm, they would be sent to the water prison to be held in custody while awaiting their trial. This joint public trial would be held by the 4 major sects before delivering their final sentence. Luo Qingge sneered. Done talking? He had patiently listened to this nonsense for far too long already, and his heart had been seething with anger for ages now. He grabbed Chen Luan where it was on his back, his stance poised for a fight. Ooh, he's gonna defend him. Across from Sangchong Mountain Sect, Huanhua Palace's disciples also drew their swords, one after another, glowering just the same. Luo Shidi, stand down, said Yue Qingyuan. Though Luo Qingge was unwilling, if he absolutely had to obey someone, he would only concede to Yue Qingyuan. He forced his hand away from the hilt of his sword. As he stepped back, Yue Qingyuan nodded. These sorts of accusations cannot be made so lightly. The all-black longsword at his waist abruptly sprang an inch from its sheath, revealing a blinding snow-white blade. In an instant, it was like an invisible net had been cast over the entire plaza. The spiritual energy within that space roiled restlessly like the tides. The incessant hum from Yue Qingyuan's sword sounded like it was droning with the ear itself. A number of younger disciples instinctively covered their ears, their hearts pounding relentlessly. Xuan Su! Everyone was floored. The reason Yue Qingyuan had ordered Luo Qingge to step down was so he could step up to fight himself. Unbelievable! Reportedly, ever since Sangchong Mountain Sect's peak lord Chong Ding, Yue Qingyuan had succeeded his position. He'd only drawn his sword twice, once during his succession ceremony and once when he'd battled a descendant of the heavenly demon bloodline. Incidentally, Lo Binghe's dad. Xuan Su had only been drawn an inch, but everyone suddenly understood why. If one wished to sit at the top of Chongding Hall, a calm and mild temperament assuredly wouldn't get you there on its own. Formations! The old palace master called. Was this the cadence of an imminent battle? The demons hadn't even fought their way into this mess, and the humans were ready to start fighting amongst themselves. Knowing the situation would only worsen, Shen Qingqiu promptly removed his sword and threw it in front of him. Shuoya struck straight up in the ground before Huanhua Palace Master. Giving up one's sword was equivalent to a surrender, an agreement to comply with the verdict. The old palace master snatched up the sword Shen Qingqiu had turned over and waved his sect members back to their places. Shidi, Yue Qingyuan murmured quietly. Shishong, there's no need to say any more, said Shen Qingqiu. Those who are clean will remain clean no matter what. Chen Zhou is willing to accept arrest. Between the old palace master's senility, clamping down on the notion of his guilt, and the combo attack of the sower and Cho Haitong being imprisoned was just the last nail in the coffin. Anyway, the sequence of events had unfolded in the original work. Shen Qingqiu had thought he could avoid it before, but he hadn't expected things would still circle back to this set plot arc. Why force Changzhong Mountain and Huanhua Palace to have a falling out as well? Shen Qingqiu persisted. Saying more will help no one. The truth will prove itself. After he spoke, he didn't look to see Yue Qingyan's expression, but swept a glance at Lo Binghe. He saw neither joy nor anger on that face. Lo Binghe stood steadily in place, cutting a clear contrast with the cultivators swaying and covering their ears all around them. After some time, Yue Qingyan finally sheathed his sword. It was like that giant net was drawn away from the air. Shen Qingqiu turned towards Yue Qingyan and gave him a deep bow. When he thought about it, he'd made a lot of trouble for his Jianghan man Xishang. He was honestly ashamed. His Jiang man Xishang. Chou Haitong was still sobbing incessantly. Qin Wanyue walked over and tried to comfort her. Miss Chou, whatever the state of affairs, the three sects will give you an answer. She said three sects to wholly exclude Sangchong Mountain, making her position clear. Chou Haitong was moved, tears in her eyes. She looked up to thank Qin Wanyue, but upon seeing Lo Binghe standing alone to the side, she couldn't suppress the blush that suffused her cheeks. Shen Qingqiu internally rolled his eyes. Theoretically, he was getting cucked right in front of his face, so why didn't he feel even the slightest bit unhappy? Fellas? Kate? A group of Huanhua Palace disciples led by Gong Yishao walked up to him. The lengths in their hands were all too familiar. Hello, immortal binding cables. Goodbye, immortal binding cables, thought Shen Qingqiu, mentally waving as he did so. Senior Shen, my apologies, said Gong Yishao, sounding honestly sorry. This junior will treat you with due respect. Before the truth comes to light, I will not let you suffer any slight. The Wizard of Moz says, okay, point to you. Shen Qingqiu nodded, though he spoke only a couple of words in reply. Thank you for your trouble. What use is it if you're the only one treating me with due respect? One look at the expression on those Huanhua Palace disciple faces, and he knew every single one was itching to eat him alive. After all, Huanhua Palace was the sect that had suffered the most serious casualties at the Immortal Alliance Conference. There was certainly more sufferings to be had. With his torso bound by immortal binding cables, Shen Qingqiu felt his body grow heavy. When without a cure intermittently flared up, he only felt the circulation of his spiritual energy become congested, like if the connection was bad, but if you smacked the remote, you could still make do. Once the immortal binding cables were fastened, his spiritual energy was completely obstructed, reducing him to an ordinary mortal. We shall set the date of this trial to 1 month from now. What does everyone think? Said the old palace master. 5 days, said Lo Qingge. The longer Shen Qingqiu was imprisoned in the water prison, the more various tortures he would have to bear. The 5 days Lo Qingge demanded was the least amount of time into which the preparation procedures for the trial could be compressed. The old palace master was, of course, unwilling to compromise. If it is so hurried, I am afraid there will be many oversights. Jiaohua monasteries were professional mediators. One of their masters suggested, what about 10 days? 7 days, said Yue Qingyan, no longer. With all the sect leaders haggling, Shen Qingqiu began to feel like he was standing in a food market. However, he had his own considerations and hurriedly cut in. There's no need for more back and forth. Listen to the palace master's plans. 1 month. Oh my god. If he could delay things further, it would be better for the growth of the dew mushrooms. He shot a look at Shang Qinghua out of the corner of his eye and raised his eyebrow. Understanding his intentions, Shang Qinghua let his hands fall in front of him, subtly making a gesture of, no problem, leave it to me. However, the success of this plan depended if Shen Qingqiu could really last a month in Huanhua Palace, thoroughly under Lo Binghe's control. Oh my god, that's the end of the chapter. Oh my god. Oh my god! He's walking into Lo Binghe's torture chamber! Oh shit! What's he gonna fucking do to him? Oh my god! Oh shit! How exciting! Is he cooked, y'all? Oh man. Raven Witch says, this is gonna get kink, isn't it? Oh, Kictor, your mouth. You'll see, you'll see. You'll love the next few chapters, Kictor. Oh god, oh god. Oh man. Time alone with crazy ass Binghe. Fuck. He's not cooked, he's boiled. Oh shit. He also left his life in Shang Qinghua's hands, so rip. Oh no, oh no, oh no. He's gonna fuck it up somehow, isn't he? Their first date! Water prison is kinky. Oh my god, I'm very excited. Yeah, so I got my first taste of, like, new Bingha. Like, what does the fandom call Bingha in this arc? Black Lotus? First date. Where because, like, he definitely smashed him into the wall and is, like, a little bit, like, he's, like, crazy, right? Like, he's got he's a little fucked up. Blackened Lotus goes wild. We just call him gay. Oh god. Blackened Lotus, Black Sheep, Blackened or Burnt. Okay. He's just a little crazy. Yeah, it seems like he's, like, battling with something, right? Like, he's a little burnt but good. Yeah. He's still my little meow meow. Oh my gosh. He's Quispy. Post-trauma Binghi. PTSB. Post-traumatic stress Bingha. What a menacing goober. Oh my god. Annika says, I loved how this part had me wondering how they were ever gonna get together. Yeah, right? Like, comparing him to, like, MXTX's other tops is like, oh my god. His inner gay. She's in deprivation syndrome. Okay, let's see what Kate sent me. Guoshi's gambling addiction. Oh my god, this is so good. Let's see. Look at him playing cards from the new Guoshi art from TGCF. He's too busy playing cards. That's so good, Kate. Oh my gosh. Shenyuan forgot to pay the head pat tax. That's so funny. Letitia says, Bingha just gives me PTSD. Beautiful princess syndrome. That's so funny. Moto says, out of all the tops, Lo Bingha is definitely the most toxic, but it's so fun. Oh yeah, let's talk about Shenzhou's backstory. I know that they're, like, Shenzhou has fans, like, people like the original flavor. Isn't it a little bit weird for your adoptive sister to marry you? Like, isn't that kind of frowned upon in, in real life, but also, like, you know? Isn't that kind of fucking weird? Rimru, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Ace Malova, they could never make me hate you, Shenzhou. Shenzhou, my baby. Jingguanyao vibes. You don't even know. There's so much more to the story. Marrying your slave is not cool. Yeah, I mean, she's even being like, oh, he was my brother, and then we were to be betrothed. It's like, that's not making it any better. There was so much backstory you will find out later. Okay, I'm like a big time villain fucker, so like, I'm probably gonna really like him, aren't I? I will definitely be reading the extras. It's so fucked. Oh my god. Oh my god. My baby did nothing wrong except abusing children, but that's not important. Oh my god. There's a lot to unpack in his background. Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, as soon as, like, you know, a character's been abused in the past, I'm like, okay. If they go a little bit crazy, I get it. Quinn Silva, thank you for your donation. Things were different in ancient China. Yeah, I understand that. But I also feel like that's just not right. The fanfics for Shenzhou go so hard. Ooh. Shenzhou was more of a servant boy than a brother. Character you will love, Shenzhou. Okay, okay. Kenzie says, you reading this book helps me understand the book better the second time. I get that way too, Kenzie. Sometimes it honestly takes me reading something twice to like really understand what's going on. Cousins were getting married in Peerless. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, in some of these danmes, it's like, ugh, where's the line? But anyways, I feel like that's just not the best for emotionally to be an abused slave brought into a family, and then you're gonna marry your new sister, and then something happens, and then you kill the whole family. Like, I feel like something's happening, though, you know, something's there. Shenjo would have so many friends if he didn't hate himself. He hates himself? Aww. Why does he hate himself? Speaking about it being okay for characters to go crazy, I sent you a DM on Insta. Ooh, let's see. A Menti B moment. We all have them. Rena Dels, thank you for your donation, says, Shenjo feels like a response to Jiggy, despite coming first. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Oh my gosh. Jessica sent me this, and it has Lo Bingha did nothing wrong. That's perfect. Oh my god. Wei Wuxian's wig says, if you love Jung Chung, I feel like you'll love Shenjo. Okay, well, I'm here as Jung Chung fucker. No one will ever believe him if he said things. Aw. Something happens. No spoilers. Okay, okay. Jay, thank you for your donation. The moral of Scum Villain is that trauma begets trauma, and it's all a cycle. Oof, that's sad. That's upsetting, yeah. Thank you for your donation, though, Jay. I mean, okay, so Scum Villain is trauma begets trauma, and it's a cycle. The moral of Modao Zushi is, like, it doesn't matter what actually happened. Society just needs a scapegoat to blame someone for the truth. What's the moral of TGCF? Love wins. Kate said, when you finish Scum Villain, I need to send you this insanely good fic where Shenyuan transmigrated into Shiwudu and tries to fix things. Oh, yes, I've heard of that fic. I'd love to read that. Be good to your wife. Madame Yu is just Femme Shenju. If this is the hill I will die on. Ooh. Dr. Sprout, the moral of TGCF is that cream pie is cool. Oh my god. The moral of TGCF is gaga. The moral of TGCF is that stalking is the way to get someone. Oh yeah, I was just thinking, like, in TGCF, and like a comparison to Scum Villain is like, you know, Shalian tells Hua Chung, like, if you can't live for someone, live for me, and Hua Chung like takes that to heart, and then later on, Shalian's like, oh, I can't believe I like said that. That was so cringe. And Hua Chung's like, yeah, you said it, but it was really beautiful that you said that, you know? I think it's really nice. And then there's fucking Shenjing Cho that's like, in the eyes of heaven, demons are nothing is intolerable. Like, demons can be okay. And then fucking kicks him into the abyss. And Bingha's like, but you said. Like a total 180. Quinn, it was cringe, but I needed it, Gaga. Exactly. That's so funny. Oh my god. It was cringe, but I needed it, Gaga. Sometimes to support someone when they're really down, you gotta throw cringe out the window. It's not cringe to help a brother out. Axel Taco says, to me, the moral of TGCF is making a difference can be just helping one person. It doesn't have to be saving the world. Yeah, definitely. That shows that there's humanity and life is worth living and people are good. Because deep down, people will always be helping each other and people want to do good. I love Shalian cringing over his life-saving advice, right? The moral of TGCF is that small acts of kindness matter. Yeah. And to have a positive outlook that people are good, I think, as well. What is your opinion on mooching? Oh my goodness. How can you not like mooching? I feel so bad for him. My opinion is pity. Meridia says, I can't believe Shenjing Cho said he was being cucked by Lobingha. Oh yeah, the reason I brought that up was because, like, earlier in the other chapters, you know, Shenjing Cho's like, ooh, all right, I'm gonna get to see Lobingha romance a girl, like, in person. This ought to be good. And I was like, sounds like Shenjing Cho would enjoy, like, watching Lobingha, like, fuck someone. I know this is before, you know, he's mega gay, but I kind of have this, like, cucking joke now with Shenjing Cho. Xiao! Hey, Xiao! I came here really late, but I'm gonna go back later tonight and rewatch the stream for a nighttime bed story. Oh, that's awesome. Well, when you get to this part, I will say, good night, Xiao. Shen Xiao and Mu Qing would be BFFs. Convince me otherwise. Ooh. Orion, thank you for your donation. Reading Scum Villain before TGCF had me wondering where the crazy bitches in the ship were. Oh my god. Quinn Silva says, you don't have to change the whole world to help someone's life feel whole. Oh, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. What do you think of Lo Chinga? I love him. I think he's hot. He's giving, like, a bit of, like, tsundere bitchiness that Stitch and I both really like in a man. And yet, and like, I'm, like, kind of, like, obviously I ship Shenjing Cho with Lobingha, but, like, I'm, like, liking the interactions he has with Shenjing Cho as well. I'm shipping Shenjing Cho with Lobingha. But it's like, ooh, when there's a Lo Chinga Shenjing Cho scene, I'm like, you know? Kenzie says, I am in love with that cat man. Give me Lo Chinga. The whole Bing Luo Shen dynamic is about Shenjing Cho watching the other two. There we go! I get it! Maybe that's for me. I mean, right now, as I've read one book. Oh, just wait for the succubus extra. What? Michelle says, is it bad if I like more Shenjing Cho with Lo Chinga? No, I think you'll find lots of people ship that big time. Stitch ships that. Cucking is canon in Scum Villain. Just wait for the extras. Oh my god! Moto says, I wish I liked Lo Chinga, but I just can't stand the musclehead personality. I get that. I get that. I like to think that it's like he has that personality because he's like hiding his emotions, but I also understand how that's not, cannot be everybody's cup of tea. Anthony says, I have a whole fan fiction of Bing Lo Shen where Lo Bingha and Lo Chinga do the pa 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 go 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 and Shen Yuan is there. He's in the chair. He's in the extra chair in the hotel room. Shaney says, Morazushi's moral is if you love someone, be with them when you can or they'll be gone. Wang Xian was the only one to learn this the hard way and be together. Oof. There are so many foils to their relationship in Morazushi. Like, oh my god. Wei Wuxian's parents, Jing Guanyao and Lan Qichen, the fucking, Shui Yang and Xiao Qingchen and Xiao Qingchen and the, oh my god, what's it, Song Lan. And the whole Zheng family, like Zheng Cheng's parents. Basically every relationship. Every relationship in Morazushi fails except for Wang Xin. Neko, thank you for your donation. When it comes to pairing, Scum Villain Fandom is the calmest of the 3 MXTX work. You'll see some wild things and no one will bat an eye. Peace. Peace and harmony. We love that. Quinn says, thank you so much for reading my comments out loud. It makes me happy. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. If you guys want me to read something out loud, it makes it easier if you like do @Kichter, because on my screen it like pops up in bright orange. And Mian Mian's relationship, yes. The fandom agreed Shenxing Cho deserves every man in the book. Xiao says, I almost sent you $500. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oopsies, but here's some money. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for not sending me $500. Oh my god. Lizzie, welcome back. What snacks do you have? I'm getting hungry. And thank you, Xiao, so much. Letitia says, me and my friend are making a fanfic of 2 gay gods. It's called Death's Gaze, but we aren't done yet. That sounds fun. That's awesome. Xiao says, I would give you $500. Oh my gosh. Too much chocolate and a bag of Ruffles all dressed. Ooh, sounds good. I love Ruffles. I think my favorite Ruffles is the sour cream and onion. Spark Major says, pausing my game to ask, are you streaming tomorrow? That's the question. Here, let's look at my schedule together, everybody. I never have hockey on Sundays. I always have it on Tuesdays. But this week there is a random Sunday. But my game is at 8:20. 5, 6, 7. So I have to be there. I have to leave at 7:20. So I could stream tomorrow. I think I should. I think I should stream some Genshin tomorrow. And then, this might be crazy. This might be fucking crazy. I could stream SCUM Villain again Monday night. Because I think I'm gonna have to do the members only stream on Thursday. Because Wednesday, Stitch and I are having like early Valentine's Day because we're going away for actual Valentine's Day. We're going to be on a ferry all day. 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. So, we shall do Genshin tomorrow. Probably at 5. And then another SCUM Villain stream Monday. And then members only game night stream Thursday. Yes. Yeah, I have a really, really, really good plan for what I'm doing for Stitch for Valentine's Day. Quite good. Oh, Kate won't be able to go to the member stream because work at 5 a.m. Oh, I'm sorry. I try not to ever miss Fridays, but we're going to this con. Tina! Tina says these readings are why I became a member. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy it. Date night at the water prison? Yeah. I don't... Stitch, are you in the chat right now? Because if you're in the chat right now, I'm going to spoil Valentine's Day. I'm pretty sure she's sewing. Lizzie says massive judgment on the sour cream and onion choice. So you don't like sour cream and onion? She ain't gonna tell you she's here. No, she likes surprises. Okay, there's like this really big, you can look it up, suspension bridge, and they decorate it all with like lights for like Valentine's Day, and it will be so very pretty and beautiful. We're gonna go there. And I also got like so many gifts for her, and I made a big basket with all the gifts in it. Ain't nothing more romantic than a bridge, am I right? The stream tomorrow I think will be at 5. Yeah. 5 p.m. PST. SCUM stream will also be at 5. So yeah, it'll be 5, and then Thursday, 7, I think. Oh my god, Stitch actually once, I went to visit her, she got some like Chinese lanterns for us, and we were gonna like light them on New Year's and like watch them go up in the sky, and then we like looked up like the like air traffic control rules, and they're like totally illegal because I guess Stitch's house was pretty close to an airport, so we were like, let's not risk it. Even though we really wanted to do it. I will have you know we are law-abiding girlfriends. I came, I scum, I saw. It's fun to watch Kictor simp for Stitch. Oh my god, my whole life is simping for Stitch. I love her so much. Oh no, Jessica won't be able to come on Monday. You won't be able to miss, you'll miss the water prison. Would it be better if we did SCUM tomorrow instead? I'm gonna put it in the chat. Do you want to do a back-to-back double SCUM? Oh, my throat's totally good. Thank you, Spark Major. Oh my god, 100% Sunday. Holy shit. Okay, well, I will see you all tomorrow then. That's awesome. Fantastic. Double SCUM. SCUM to SCUM. I'm totally okay with it. I love that. A clear pair of socks says, I suppose I could rearrange my plans to be here tomorrow. You gave us the option. We chose to be spoiled. We love our resident simps, Kickstitch and Kenzie Box. Kenzie Box. Is that your ship name, Kenzie Box? I love that. Lizzie says, I will cheer you on with pom-poms for Genshin. Trust. Do I need a foam finger? Maybe. Did I miss Father? Is Father gone now in Genshin? Jay, if you want to send me TikToks, you have to look back in my community posts. I posted a little while back the link for it. It's always the same link. So if you can find that community post I posted a couple weeks ago, you shouldn't have to scroll too far where I asked for TikToks. Briar Corner. Briar Corner Kenzie Box. That's funny. Well, that's like us. Is it Kick Stitch or Stitch Kick or Stickter? We like Kick Stitch though. Jessica says, I still have work tomorrow. No, but at least I'll be alone in an office for a while. Okay, okay. Oh, I want you to be there, Jessica. I'll do you one better. Stick. Community post on YouTube. Stickter, I hardly know her. Wait, Bridget saying no. Wait, is Father still there or is Father gone? Wei Wuxian's Wig says, I have sent you so many TikToks. That's fantastic. I appreciate you doing that so much. Don't be Kick Stitch. She doesn't deserve it this time. You can be Stick Doors. No. We will be Kick Stitch. Stick is Box. Father ends on Tuesday. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we will get Father on Monday. I will make it so. You're golden. Fuck yeah. That's perfect. What is your opinion on the animation of Scum Villain? I think it's kind of it's kind of derpy. I feel like it's not like the most attractive sprites for everybody, you know what I mean? And I hate that it's censored. It's just so different from the book. But of course, it's like, take what you can get. So I think it's become quite like a meme in the fandom. I feel like more people read the book than watch it because it really covers so little of the book, you know? But yeah. No, please, guys, please don't send me money on Genshin. If you want to support me, please purchase a membership or send a donation, but don't send me money on Genshin, please. Kate says, if we pay Yi enough, I bet he'll animate all of Scum Villain. I think so too. I think he's working on it right now, actually. Talika says, I like it because it feels like Proud Immortal Demon Way. Janky. That's funny. Yes. Rylsley comes in late March. Oh, perfect for my birthday. Lizzie says, telling chat not to spend money to you is like telling a bomb not to go off. Oh my god. Ugh. Gambling addicts, all of you. You just want to watch me gamble. I saw this one art of Rylsley with a really big dick, and it has not left me. So that's all I think about whenever I hear his name. You'll be able to come to Scum Villain tomorrow after 5:20. Fucking perfect. That's amazing. Oh my god, Xiao has spent over $500 on Honkai Star Rail. I used to play Apex. I fucking miss Apex. I loved it so much. I definitely spent a lot of money on skins in Apex. Kate says, I did buy a game for my friend specifically so I could watch him gamble. Oh. You are now a gambler yourself, Kictor. Shush, you don't get to say anything anymore. Luca says, I've spent close to 1K on Genshin. Oh my god. One of us, one of us. Kate says, I spent way too much money on Overwatch. Scum tomorrow will be at 5 o'clock. That's crazy. Okay, guys, it's 7 o'clock. I gotta go have some dinner with Stitch, my beloved girlfriend. Kick Stitch Nation, how we feeling? Oh, I just heard her scream. You okay? I'm gonna go kiss whatever just happened better. So, thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow for another Scum stream. How fun. I really appreciate you guys, and I also really appreciate all you members that are supporting me. It means the world to me. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!